Airtight Alibi, 3 and a green for 3 mana total for an enchantment aura with flash, an enchant creature. When Airtight Alibi enters the battlefield, untap enchanted creature. It gains hexproof until end of turn. If it's suspected, it's no longer suspected. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and can't become suspected. I think the suspecting is mostly trinket text. Of course, you're going to have your creature suspected at some point in time by your opponent trying to go aggressive, and I think it'll happen not often enough to really move the needle on this card. I see this as a expensive, clunky combat trick that you do not really care about picking up super highly, and you will be able to get copies of. And if you run it in your deck, it won't be the most embarrassing thing in the world, but has no natural synergies, so I don't want to pick it up very much at all. This is a D for me.
It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool for the morph creatures, I guess, as well, because the disguised creatures, I guess, they have Ward 2, so it's a little bit easier to put it on them. I don't think that's a small thing. I think it's important, because you're going to be having a lot of trades with these 2/2s. It does cost 3, that's quite a lot. Hexproof just saved it from anything, and it still keeps the 2/2. Opponents maybe suspect your creature, and then they think they can attack, but you unsuspect it. I'm fine with this. I'm on a D+. I think it's not that bad. I'm not against this. Bite down on crime. For 3 and a green, it's a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 6. This spell costs 2 less to cast if the evidence was collected. Target creature you control gets +2/+0. Until end of turn, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Why does this not cost 2 mana?
It can cost 2 mana.
Like, this seems fine to cost 2 mana, that's it. That doesn't seem to that great. It's sorcery.
2 mana +2/+0 is and a punch is a lot. That would be super pushed.
It would be fine. It's sorcery speed. This is bad. This is really bad. 4 mana for this effect is way too much. I guess how they envisioned it is that you can play it on your morph creatures. Your disguised creatures. An opponent can't really interact with those, so bite spells are gonna be too good. So this can be like 4 damage, almost uncounterable. So bites can be too good. I don't know, man. What the fuck? D? I guess D? I don't know. D seems fine.
Alright, I'm slightly more of a believer. +2 on the power side means that you can hit through critical targets, right? That you actually need to kill. And being able to, you can double spell with this pretty easily with Evidence 6. And if you're going to be Evidence 6ing like once throughout the game for a super powerful turn, that's going to be a really strong swing, and you're going to feel it. And it's going to be like, I'm going to bite down this thing, punch through my opponent's like largest blocker they were depending on to stabilize, and be able to attack. Not bad. Not bad. C-.
I don't know. Double spelling with this doesn't seem great. It seems normal. Like what I usually expect to double spell with my bite cards later on.
+2 on the bite card is really is a lot. I feel like we're underestimating that a little bit. Like, when was the last time you saw a +2 bite card?
What was the last time I saw a +2 bite spell?
Yeah, when was the last time you saw a +2 power bite spell?
I didn't.
Yeah, +2. The extra point of power is a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, but it's 4 mana, man. It's sorcery speed. I don't like it. It's like, wait, didn't we have 3 mana instant speed +2/+0? Didn't we have like 3 mana instant speed +2/+0? At one point, it felt like we did. Guys, did we have that? Oh, it was for the werewolves, right? When it was... I don't know, man, I don't like this at all. It's like so expensive, so conditional. Like, bite spells are always conditional. Them costing 4 mana is not something that I want. I think it's garbage. They're gonna give it a D. Maybe I'm wrong. We're gonna see. Like, it's kind of better with... You're paying fucking 4 mana all the time. That sucks.
What do you mean all the time?
Collect Evidence 6. Like, if I have any other card with Collect Evidence, I don't want to use it on this thing. What am I getting? A 2 mana conditional removal spell?
It's a different deck that we're building here. It's a different deck. It's one that you want to be a little bit more proactive in, so you can double spell it and then keep on applying pressure.
I mean,
Right?
but,
If you want to be collect evidencing for the long game, then you're probably not using this.
I mean, playing a 2 mana conditional removal spell, that's not proactive for me. That is like a card that just is in a deck and it's fine.
This is a card I'm putting in my deck and it's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I like it that much. Alright, next up, I think it's you.
Fanatical Strength, 1 and a green for an instant. Target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample until end of turn. I thought Staggering Size was incredible combat trick, super strong. This is the exact same card, and I think it's much worse. I think it's much worse. I don't really foresee the. I really don't foresee you wanting this sort of effect as quite as important as you wanted to push damage in LCI in the same way, right? But it's still a fine combat trick to me. This is a C- as well.
Yeah, I like this combat trick. I'm fine with it. I mean, it's exactly the same card like in the LCI, right?
It's the exact same card.
It's exactly the same card. It's decent. It's decent. I'm on a D+. If you need tricks, you play it. If you don't, you don't. Easy. I think it's fine. It's so much better, this trick, than the removal spells as well. Loxodon Eavesdropper. Now you have a 3 and a green 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you investigate. But when you draw your second card each turn, it's a detective. This thing gets +1/+1 and gains vigilance until end of turn. Oh! I thought it was a counter spell.
You thought it was a counter spell?
No. I thought it was a
thought it was a
+1/+1
green
counter.
counterspell?
I'm a fucking idiot. I thought this one was a +1/+1 counter spell. I thought it was a +1/+1 counter that you get. But it's not that. It is not that. It's not a +1/+1 counter. It's. This is good. This is real. This is actually really good. This is really good. I don't think it's okay. I think it's great. It is a detective. It has a nice head. I think the huge deal is that it's a detective. So, I don't. Not a huge of a deal, but it works with some of the blue cards. Since Victorious Elephants have been good, yeah. This one is great. Like it's gonna. It can trade. If you're drawing cards, it can attack well. These 3/3 for 4 mana have been little kind of bad. When they usually get better on attacks, and this is gonna be the same for this one. That's been awkward because you get a weaker creature, but this one is gonna draw you the card later. I think this is amazing. I'm giving it a C+, but I can see a B-.
I'm also on a C+. This card's really good.
I can see this going to a B-. I can see this being one of the better cards in the full set.
Nervous Gardener, 1 and a green for a creature dryad. It's a 2/2 with Disguise green. When Nervous Gardener is turned face up, search your library for a land card. Search your library for a land card with the basic land type. Reveal it, put into your hand, then shuffle. It's an expensive way to fetch a land.
Mm-hmm.
It's an expensive way to fetch a land. When you're flipping it face up, even though the face up turning is cheap, it's you're not getting any more power on board, right? You're just paying 1 mana and getting a land, which is okay. It's okay. And as a bear, it's okay. This is an all-around okay bear, and if I have to splash, this is not the worst way to do it. I don't think this is an embarrassing way to splash. That way you can defend yourself in the early turns, and if you have a little bit of breathing room, you know, if you're missing your 4th land drop, flip this up, play your land, thumbs up. That's fine. You know, I think this card's totally acceptable. This is a C- for me.
Yeah, I like this card. I'm gonna be on a C. I think this is gonna be a beautiful thing if you are trying to play a multicolored deck, multicolored green deck. So I don't know how much you care about being multicolored, but there are some good uncommons, I guess. Yeah, it's a bear. It can help you search for land if you can allow yourself to do that. Doesn't really ramp. Yeah, I like this. C. And 2/2s for 2 mana. That's what you get in this format. That's kind of what you get. That is the thing. That is what you get. Pick your poison. For a green, it's a sorcery. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact. And each opponent choose one. Each opponent sacrifices an artifact, or each opponent sacrifices an enchantment, or each opponent sacrifices a creature with flying. Oh, this hits enough things. Like, this hits enough things. This definitely hits enough things. Because it's flying and it's just a single mana. It's only one mana. It can hit a clue. That kind of sucks. Enchantment, there are good enchantments. Flying, there are good flyers. I think this is main deckable. I'm gonna give it a D. D seems fine. And a cyborg grade. But D seems fine. Like, you can main deck this, I think. It's just one mana.
The white enchantment removal is really good to pick off with an enchantment, because enchantments aren't super common. It's probably going to be the only one on the battlefield. Really nice to pick off.
This gives you 6 mana dragon. The first one, yeah. Nice. This is not bad. It's efficient.
Rubber Belt Maverick, green for human creature. Creature human detective. It's a 1/1. When Rebel Belt Maverick enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Green, and exile Rebel Belt Maverick from your graveyard. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Activate only as a sorcery. This card is actually nice. It does a lot. This does a lot for 1 mana. This is one of the only common ways to fill your graveyard in the early game if you want to be quote-unquote curving out with any sort of collect evidence. The fact that it's inconsistent, right? Like, so you surveil 2, flip 2 lands, then all of a sudden your curve looks much worse. Or you don't flip enough mana value to actually collect evidence on the turns you want to be collecting evidence. Rough. But this does a lot for 1 mana. The Surveilling 2 is nice. Being able to only pay 1 to exile it, which means it leaves the battlefield and adds a +1/+1 counter on something, is nice. This all around, this is fine. Not to the point where I'm picking these up and saying like, hey, yes, now I can play a super powerful deck, but more like, hey, I'm picking these up on the wheel or at like pick 7, 8, and being like, yeah, I can support my early powerful cards because this is a way to enable them. This is a C- for me.
Sorry about it. It is still a 1/1. That's a little bit of a problem. But there are a decent amount of 2/1s, so that kind of helps. Surveil is good. The exile is only 1 mana, so that's pretty easy. It's a detective, I guess, and 2 power 2 or less. It's helps your draws, gets you to collect evidence. I'm okay with a C-. You gotta see, like, I don't know how good these one drops are gonna be. Helps you collect evidence, though. That's really nice. Helps the creature leave the graveyard as well. But what are you doing with it early? You're not doing that much. Like, it's nice to remove the creatures away. Man, I'm on a C for this one. I like it a lot. I'm on a C. I think this is gonna be good. In Golgari, like, you have the mole, the insect. You have the insect, which is a 3/4, and it becomes lifelink menace, and the 5/5 it is. So you like surveil there. You're trying to like build some kind of late game. Yeah, I like this. I'm gonna see. I think this is good. Slime Against Humanity. It's a common 2 and a green sorcery that says create a 0/0 green ooze creature token with trample. Put X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is 2 plus the total number of cards you own in exile and in your graveyard that are this card. A deck can have any number of these cards, whatever. That doesn't mean anything for limited. Okay, this is not a... Why would this be a meme card? So this is a 3 mana 3/3.
No, it's a 3 mana 2/2. It's still on the stack. 3 mana 2. I made the same mistake.
Fuck. Yeah, it's still on the stack. Oh. It does... it does collect evidence. But it's a 3 mana 2/2. But it does collect evidence right away. Sorry, it doesn't collect evidence, but it does give you cards in the graveyard to collect evidence. So it is kind of a role player in that. How many of these can you actually get? Like, the first 2 are pretty bad. Like, getting a 3 mana 2/2 and then 3 mana 3/3. It's not what you really want to be doing.
I think we can both agree you don't want to be casting this for 3 mana on getting a 2/2 for the first time. You would like to cheat it somehow.
Cheat it? You mean like
You'd like to surveil it, or you'd like to discard it. The first copy.
the first
Before you're
copy?
happy
Yeah,
with
the first. It's kind of hard to do that. I'm gonna D for this one, but it's kind of, if you need collect evidence, I guess this works. Cause it's like you do get a 2/2, but then why not just play a 3 mana 2/2 morph creature and get it in the graveyard, and it's probably bigger than 3 mana. This is either an F or a C. Wait, I mean, what is it? Is it an F or is it a C? That's pretty different. I'm gonna D. Like, I don't think you want to pick this too much. What do you think, Scotty?
Okay. Where is the upside here? A 3 mana 4/4. I'm the problem is that the upside I'm not seeing as much. Like, it's not even like I'm destroying you if if I cast my second one and it's a 4/4, right?
It is very fast evidence.
Yeah, fast evidence. So it's specifically for. I think this is a Simic card. I do think this is a Simic card. Simic has a lot of ways to pitch the first one out of your hand, at least. Decent amount of ways to mill it. I think this will be actually in specifically Simic and actually fine playable. I do. I think so. D+.
D+?
Yeah, in your typical Simic deck, if a Simic deck is functioning as a normal Simic deck would, I think this is a okay card.
Yeah, I mean, it gets you... Why do you care if it has an ooze? What are you talking about? What the fuck?
No, there's no other oozes except Vanifar.
Even if you have like 20 more oozes, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't matter, right?
It counts the oozes, yes. It counts the oozes, not just the slimes against humanity.
Oh, that are oozes. Oh, that are oozes. I didn't see. How did I not?
It's no text in the set.
There's no oozes in the set.
There's a Vanifar at Mythic Rare.
There's a Mythic Rare?
Yep.
That is the only ooze?
It's the only other ooze.
So there are no oozes. So it doesn't matter. Adjust your goggles, sir. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, sometimes the only plus I see from this is like you do get to collect evidence 3 after you play it. Just a D, whatever. Not a big fan. Maybe it's gonna be okay. You can't get it back as a creature. It doesn't work in Golgari because it's not a creature, so I don't know. Not a big fan. Next.
They went this way. 2 and a green for 3 mana for a sorcery. Search your library for basic land, put it onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle, investigate. This is not the worst. This is not the worst way to splash. I think this, if you are building your deck with enough defensive speed, enough payoffs, right? I do think Simic is not actually really Simic in this. I really think Simic is the archetype that wants to be splashing a bunch. The green splash, there's enough green common splashers that 5-color green is a real deck. This is not embarrassing. I think the set is slow enough, and I think this will enable you to do enough powerful things when you ramp into it that I'm perfectly fine with this at a C.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's a C?
A C for fine. I think this set is slower than Shadows of Innistrad. I do also agree that this is worse than Weirding Wood, but it's still solid to me. It's still solid.
I guess you can draw a card later, get some artifacts. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a D+. If your deck really needs it, I guess you can take it. If you don't, if you need to fix, maybe you're playing 5 colors, it's playable. This does ramp. Oh, she doesn't ramp. Yeah, the 2/2 doesn't ramp, but it doesn't matter. You get a 2/2, that's nice. You get a creature. It's okay. Gets you collect evidence, that is true. The ooze just sounds really bad. Yeah, this sounds really bad. This does collect evidence, ramps you up. I mean, it's okay. Like it does replace itself for like 5 mana in total. It's okay if that's what you're doing. I think maybe I think I'm gonna try a lot of like multicolor decks, like 4 or 5 colors with green. I think they definitely could work with maybe a lot of collect evidence and stuff. We're gonna see. I think it might work. And this is good. This is the land cycling. The Topiary Panther for 4 and double green. It's a 6/5 trample common. Basic land cycling, 1 and a green. For 2 mana, you're getting literally any land that you want. And you can also play it as a 6 mana 6/5. And it is gonna be here to collect evidence up to 6. This one I do like, and it's gonna be it's pretty good for you in your 5-color decks, I think. And I think the 5-color decks are gonna care about collecting evidence, maybe comboing it together, having some artifact synergies and so on, like 3-4-color decks, I guess. I'm okay with this. I do like it. I'm on a C. Because if you're playing a 2-color deck and if you don't have collect evidence, you kind of don't care about it.
Yep, C for me as well. This is fine. Tunnel Tipster, 1 and a green for 2 mana for a creature Mole Scout. It's a 1/1. At the beginning of your end step, if a face-down creature entered the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Tunnel Tipster. I really think that a 2 mana ramper is very good in this format. I do think it's very good. There's a lot of things to spend your mana on. Unmorphing, cracking clues, and this will scale in the late game. It'll scale in the late game. There is a very strong, not very strong, but there's a common play pattern, which you can play this on 2, and then play the Nervous Gardener, flip it on turn 3, right? Because that's 4 mana, yes. So that's like a common, that's like a, with commons in green, self-contained, that's a play pattern that's perfectly fine, you know? And more. I like Tunnel Tipster a lot. This is a B- for me.
I love it. And man, look at him. Look at him Look at him with his little hood. This gotta be B- just for the art. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's gonna grow. It's you just need to play a face down creature.
Think about the set mascot, Lola. Okay, think about it at least, so we don't have a fiasco like last time.
This is set mascot, man.
Okay, this is the set mascot. You've said it already. Okay,
that's easy. That is easy. This is the best boy.
This is a set mascot.
This is a good boy. A good boy. And I'm giving it. I kind of want to give it a B- as well. You just need to play the creature. You know, you don't need to flip it. I don't know how many of these things that you can flip. How many of these every deck is gonna have. So. Oh, disguise, like, does green have good disguise cards? Like, I'm not sure. I'm not huge on the green ones. Like, they're all kind of big boys. And that's kind of
Green has all the disguise cards, by the way. Because it'll just splash them all.
I don't know, man. If that works, because then it's gonna be like double. You're gonna need double red or double black or double of the splashed color. That doesn't sound like a good splash, doesn't it?
I mean, if it's double pipped, yeah, it doesn't sound very good now.
All the commons are double pipped to flip. The green ones you already
can. But you have all the colors of uncommons.
So you gotta use the double to flip it, and that's where they do something. The commons. So the commons, we didn't get to them. Yeah, you need to flip them, and they're like double hybrid mana. Which means if you're splashing them, it's going to be super hard. If you're not, it's going to be super easy. It's going to be in your color. The green ones are all kind of like a big boys. And it's... they don't look crazy to me. But, I mean, the big boys might just be fine because everything is a little bit smaller in this set. So maybe they are fine. And I'm going to give it a B- as well. And this kind of helps you play those big boys, right? So this incentivizes you to play the big boys in green. And because, well, you get the mana, and of course the effect incentivizes you to play the face down cards. So it kind of works for itself, right? It's gonna help you flip later on, so you're fine playing more of them, and it's just gonna grow, right? If this becomes a 3/3, that's kind of crazy. Yeah, very, very good card. And a very good boy. Vengeful Creeper for 4 and a green. It's a 5/5. These guys, for 5 and a green. Whenever this thing is turned face up, destroy target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. Oh, this one is good. So this one is a 5 mana 5/5. Why not? 5 mana 5/5 is fine. But when you flip it, it costs 6, not 5. But you have a pretty damn good effect. There are good enchantments in this set. Like there are good, there are really good enchantments, right?
I mean, the white common again
The white common,
is a common enchantment.
the blue
That's
common.
extremely good to blow up.
Wait, the enchantment. Let me see.
Makeshift binding.
Makeshift binding, yeah. You have the blue and white removal spell, and white seems really good. But then you get to the uncommons, and there is a lot. There's like
All
the
the cases.
Celestine. Yeah? All the cases. They're all the cases. They're all enchantments. There are like auras that are good. They're just random enchantment removal spells that are good. Again, all the cases. So yeah, this seems fine. I'm on a C minus.
I like it. I like it a lot. I'll go up to C. Seems like perfectly fine. But I like paying in installments. So
You like paying in installments?
I think it's just totally fine to play this as 3 and trade it off.
Yeah, that's also true.
I think that's really powerful.
That is fine, yeah. But green also has like a 3 mana 3/3. That's no, that's a 3. That was a 2/2. I was just trying to remember what was the 3 mana 3/3. I can't remember, but that was the ooze, right? The green doesn't have a 3 mana 3/3.
Green does not. The only 3 mana 3/3 is the black tapped one.
That was the mistake was still in my head.
V2 Ghazi Inspector, 1 and a green for a creature elf detective. It's a 1/3. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 6 as reach. When V2 Ghazi Inspector enters the battlefield, if evidence is collected, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and you gain 2. I will say that I believe this card is better than it looks, and it's still bad. I don't like this at all. The sizing is miserable on curve. Sizing absolutely miserable on curve. I am not a huge fan of a 1/3. That being said, I mean you gotta reach up somehow. You gotta reach up somehow, and collecting evidence 6. If your deck is actually pretty good at fueling it, for example, if you're able to fuel it on turn 2 and drop this on somewhere between 2 and 4, 2/4 is actually quite big. 2/4 is actually in this format pretty big, and gaining 2 life is not to be scoffed at if you're trying to be a late game oriented deck. I actually anticipate looking at all the cards. You will have cards that you want to collect evidence to finish off the game later on, and you will have some cards, and you'll have some spare collect evidence to be doing like 1 or 2 in the early game, and doing a V2 Ghazi Inspector is one of the better ways to stay alive, gaining life and providing a pretty decent blocking on the board.
I'm on a like D plus. Not a big fan. It's just like, especially when we have a way better green 2-drop common, way better. There's I don't like it. It is fine. It is fine, I guess. D plus, yeah. It's fine. It's fine. You can put it in a deck as a replacement 2-drop. And collect evidence 6 is quite a lot though. Even though you can play, like you are going to be playing this highly costed. Three of the 4 green flip creatures, disguise creatures, on common cost 6 mana. Or 7. So those can be traded off for 3, and there's the land cycler. So that's kind of good for this card, but yeah, it's okay. Like, it's gonna be fine in the slower decks. Maybe you don't have so many things to, so many reasons to collect evidence. So it's kind of okay. Blocks 99% of Order pressure though. Yeah, I think this might be better than what it looks like. Like, I think this might be much better just because it does help when you're building a 4/5 color deck. So, but let's see. Aftermath Analyst for 1 and a green. It's a 1/3. Oh, we're onto commons. We're done with onto uncommons. We're done with all the commons. That was kind of fast. Aftermath Analyst. For 1 and a green, we get a 1/3 that says, when Aftermath Analyst enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards. For 3 and a green, sacrifice this guy, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Alright, man, I like this one. Filling up the graveyard, getting ready for collect evidence. No, I kind of like that one. get back all land cards? I mean, how much are you gonna be milling? How much are we gonna be milling?
Not a ton. Not like a ton. You're going to be surveilling or looting mostly.
Yeah, I mean, you have the 1-drop in green that surveils. You missed the Panther, yes. So 1-drop surveils. This thing mills right away. So I mean, this thing for 4 mana doesn't even seem like it's gonna be... It's also not sorcery speed. This kind of gets me more into... Okay, I want green to be playing like ramp and big stuff. And just milling is good. The problem is 1-3. But just milling is good. I don't know. I like this card. I'm gonna give it a C.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So mostly on the... How often are you going to be activating it to sack it?
But it's fine, but I kind of really like the mill.
So just on the mill, on a 1-3, which we've both agreed is a garbage stat line for the format.
Yeah, I don't like the
Are we in
1-3.
agreement?
I really don't
So
like the 1-3.
just a mill 3 for 2 mana and a garbage body. You're on a C. I'm personally, I'm just gonna let's not be too. I'm being unfair to you. I'm on a D+.
I mean, maybe it's too high for the mill. Another think about it, like the surveil 1-drop is probably better, but like this 4 mana is... You jump and get it and just start playing. I think there is enough support like on green just to on common to go and play a big game, right? To splash, to play big creatures, value oriented cards, and then this really helps.
Yeah, you're playing that deck, and you have, let's say you have infinite access to gardeners. You know, like not even Tunnel Tipster. Are you ever playing this card over a Gardener in that deck?
What is a gardener?
The Nervous Gardener, the 2-drop.
Oh, the Nervous Gardener. Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, this does mill. It depends,
does mill,
like...
but then you can also just play a normal game and get things into your graveyard and eventually get payoffs. Like what are you turboing? Why are you rushing? Why are we in a rush? Why do you have to mill now? Why can't you just like trade off cards?
Oh man, I'm in love with the Golgari. What Golgari wants to do. Like I'm in love what Golgari wants to do with like the Insidious Roots. I can't wait for tomorrow when we're gonna get to that card. The enchantment in Golgari. It's so interesting. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a D+, I guess. It's true. I hate the body. I'm just a big believer boy. Like, it does hold the ground and shit, and then... I'm gonna give it a D+. I'm a believer in this thing. I'm a believer. I think in the right deck it's gonna be nice. You don't need the lens for collected evidence anyway, so it's an extra. I'm okay for this.
Fine. I'll play devil's advocate a little.
You're gonna go to the D?
For a card that has an ETB that you care about, it has an ETB that you care about. How willing are you to throw this in front of your opponent's disguised creature on 3 and have it get eaten? How happy are you?
How many disguised creatures are gonna eat this? There's like a 3, 1, 3, 2. There are a couple of. It's turn 4, right? It's turn 4. On turn 4, you mean?
Turn 4, yes.
Yeah, I hate putting 1/3s on my block. I really don't like blocking their disguised creatures with 1/3s.
You don't think you've gotten enough value to the point where if you save some life and caused your opponent to spend some mana, you're not happy about that?
I can double block.
You can double block. This is a very good double blocker.
Maybe the 1/3s are not going to be as bad as we think about it because they can double block. Still a D+. What are you giving a D+ as well?
D+ as well.
Yeah, let's go next one. I'm excited about green. I'm so excited about green. I love it when that happens because there are a lot of times when green is kind of boring and doesn't really have an identity. It's just like playing cards of Magic. I think green really has an identity this time.
Case of the Trampled Garden, 2 and a green. When this case enters the battlefield, it's an enchantment case. When this case enters the battlefield, distribute 2 +1/+1 counters among 1 or 2 target creatures you control. To solve, creatures you control have total power 8 or greater. And when solved, whenever you attack, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature against trample until end of turn. As a base, it's 3 mana. Perfectly fine. Suiting up your 3-drop or suiting up your 2-drop and attacking with it, that's a fine place to be. Distributing counters to enable attacks, fine place to be. Creatures you control have power 8 or greater. Not the
hard.
Easiest to solve.
Not very hard.
Yeah, not the easiest to solve, but not super difficult either. Like, you can reasonably expect to get there as long as you're not trading off aggressively. And about the solved ability is also pretty good. I like this card pretty much all around. The problem is that it's not a creature, obviously. You need creatures in your deck, but I don't think that would be that difficult for green decks to do. That being said, I think the other question that you have to ask yourself is, what green deck wants this sort of creature-centric, mid-rangey sort of thing, right? Because you're not going way over the top of your opponent. You're battling with creatures. And if green decks want to be ramping, if green decks want to be splashing, where's the room for Case of the Trampled Garden? An efficient mid-rangey card. Green-white specifically, right? If you want to be aggressive with white creatures and eventually like go over the top with some green backup, which is what I think green-white wants to do with some later game disturbed creatures, is where probably this fits the best. And it's powerful there. And I think it's powerful enough where I'd probably take it at a C+. C+ for me.
I think this is good in any deck, green deck. Like putting it on a morph creature, like I think it's very easy to get to 8. Very easy. If you have this, right? If you know that you want to get to 8, I think it's very easy, very low risk, and you don't have to take too much damage. So I'm gonna go with C+ as well, but I can see it being a B-. I can see it being a B- right now. I'm gonna go with a B-. I think it's a B-. I think this is a good one. I think it's very easy. And you have like a protection that you put it on your morph, on your disguised creature, where it does have ward. Chalk outline. That's a chalk? Okay. For 3 and a green, enchantment. Whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature token. Then investigate. That is a lot. That is a lot, man. That is a lot of things. It works with a green 1-drop. Wait, you're also investigating? You're getting 2/2s and this should be expensive, I think. This is a lot. Collect evidence. The green 1-drop just does it. With black you do it kind of easy. Green doesn't have that many collect evidence cards, right? On common.
I mean, the V2 Ghazi Gardener, the fighter that you hate.
Yeah, the inspector. What do you call it? It's the V2 Ghazi Inspector, right?
V2 Ghazi Inspector. V2 Ghazi Inspector. The bite card. The Maverick, the 1-drop Maverick.
The 1-drop Maverick is the deal. And you have other colors. Man, This does nothing when it hits the battlefield, but it is such a huge payoff, and I think the games are gonna be slower. I'm high on this. I'm very high on this. Pair this with some of your black lifelink menace guys. I don't think this is unplayable at all. I think this is fine. I'm actually giving it a C+.
Okay, I'm even higher. The reason why a 4-mana do nothing is passable, and the reason why these enchantments that do nothing have been passable in the past, whenever they are passable, is specifically because of how they break your board affecting paradigm in the following turn. You fall behind very much when you cast this on 4 mana, and then you do things that you would be doing already, like playing a collect evidence creature that impacts the board, and you get an additional 2/2 on top of that, which catches you up. So you are tempo negative. The card in itself needs to be built in to be tempo positive, which this is. Creates 2/2s.
And you draw cards to get more of those effects.
Sure, like that's like gravy, you know. Like it's not gravy. It's the why it's good, right? Because if it just caught you back up to neutral, then it would be whatever. But it goes over the top, you know, goes over the top. But this is worth it. I'm even higher. I'm on a B-.
What happens when you have the colorless card? How much does it cost for it? You know the colorless 1/3. It exiles itself as a cost, and then exiles some other creature from your graveyard if you want. So you're getting two
That costs
2/2s.
2. That costs 2.
That costs 2, getting two 2/2s
Yep.
and getting 2
Yep.
tokens. I mean, I'm sold on this one as a build around, and it kind of fuels itself because you're drawing into cards that can do have those effects. Roost of Drake is pretty broken because it's also there are a lot of kicker cards, and you can chain the kicker cards with each other.
Well, Roost of Drakes impacted the battlefield.
And for 4 mana, you get a 2/2 flyer. I like this. C+. You give it a B-.
I give it a B-.
I do like this card. I do like it quite a lot. Builder ceiling of a B. Can I sell you on that?
Sure, I'll also go down to C+ with you then.
Okay.
Culvert Ambusher, 3 green, 5 mana total for a creature Worm Horror. It's a 4/5. When Culvert Ambusher enters the battlefield or is turned face up, target creature blocks this turn is payable. Disguise, 4 and a green, 5 mana total. It's big. It's big, right? If you flip it up pre-combat, you can probably engineer a pretty good trade for yourself. Multi-blocks exist. They can still multi-block. It's not like this can't be blocked with a multitude of creatures. You can also just cast this for 5 mana and have your card eat just another card, right? You have like a 3/3 elephant or something, and then you play this, and then you eat their 2/2. That's fine. That's okay. This card is fine. I'm fine with this all around as a 5-drop. I don't know if I'm gonna be I don't know if I'm gonna be diving for this card as my 5-drop slot, right? Because I don't think it's quite that impactful. So it's like a C- for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna see for this one. This is a weird effect. We usually get this effect on like a bad sorcery, but I'm okay with this one. And green again, good with disguised creatures, good with ramping. So these things get better in green. You can eat with this thing, or you can just play it for 5. It's not like it costs 6 or 7 that we see a lot of times with the disguised cards, like just being pretty bad if you just play them. So I kind of like this card. I want to see. I think this is a good 5-drop for green. Green has 5 identities. Green has identities. The Flourishing Bloomkin for 1 and a green. It's a 0/0. But it gets +1/+1 for each forest you control. You can also disguise it and flip it for 4 and a green. When this guy is turned face up, search your library for up to 2 forest cards, reveal them, and put one of them on the battlefield, and one of them into your hand and shuffle. I mean, that's good. Like, 2 forests are not hard to have, so it's very easy for this to be a 2/2. Right, it's very easy. Mono green.
On turn 2? On turn 2?
On turn 2, it's possible. Not super easy, but it's not unlikely. If you can flip this, then you're gonna get more forests. That's kind of nice, but it does cost a lot. But you do ramp even more. It's only forests that you get. I mean, I like this card. I think this is a good card. I think it's pretty good. I'm actually on a B- for this one. Like, if you want to play disguise, which you kind of want, when you have the best card in the set, which is the mole, the best boy, the good boy, the goodest of the boys, and it works kind of well with disguising, and it ramps you also into getting even more mana and making this bigger, and just playing this as a 2 mana, 2/2 or a 3/3, and sometimes maybe at one point bigger, is also pretty good. I'm on a B-. I think this is pretty amazing. I can see it being better than a B-, because it just works with everything green wants to do.
I mean, Vorinclex is a good card. B-. Get a leg up. Green for an instant. Until end of turn, target creature gets +1/+1 for each creature you control and gains reach. Might of the Masses returns with marginal upside. I don't think it's super unlikely for boards to stall out in this format. The creature sizing is small, and having a combat trick on this cheap, being absolutely huge, is a great way to push damage. Slap this on anything with any sort of good keyword, and you start compounding your advantages here. It's going to be really scary. I do like this as a combat trick a lot. I do like it a lot. It's really not that difficult to curve out and use this as a 1 mana +2/+2, you know? It does have low floor, obviously. It doesn't do anything if you have like 1 creature. 1 creature is bad. 2 creatures, fine. 3 creatures plus, great. I think it does get pretty great. This is like it's like a C for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna see as well. This is a good trick, and I think it's pretty important that you have some 1 mana tricks for the tempo. And because you're gonna have a good amount of, I think you should have a good amount of 3 mana disguises in your deck. And that kind of makes double spelling hard. So you're playing one on 3, and then on turn 4 you can play another one, but for 1 mana you can usually do nothing. So it really helps that you can have a 1 mana trick. Plus, what also helps is that your disguised cards have morph. I'm an idiot. That your disguised cards have a ward too. And it's much easier to play tricks on them. So in that kind of a morph deck, this is going to be great way to get tempo. And in the slower decks, with a lot of 3-drops, with a lot of like flipping, tempo is a powerful tool to get. Like it's important, and it's not that easy to find it. The same was true for Khans of Tarkir, where we had morph, and here like tricks that give morph get better because of the ward too. So I'm very close to giving this a C+, but let's start with a C. Glint Weaver. For 5 and double green, you get a 3/3 reach. When this guy enters the battlefield, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures you control, probably. then you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creature you control. Now you play the 1/11 creatures and you're gaining a lot of life. Right, Scotty?
Have at it. Have at it, man.
I mean,
you do you.
14
Live your
life.
truth. Live, laugh, love, or whatever.
14 life.
Good vibes only. Good vibes only.
I got a problem with this one. It's like a 7 mana 6/6, but you distribute it among other creatures probably. It's really weird that it costs 7. This can trade with the dragon, you guys gave an A+. Yeah, but the dragon is 6 mana as well. I don't know, I mean, it's a 7 mana creature that they can kill it, but you kind of got a life and you got counters somewhere else. It feels a little bit understated. It does feel, but it also feels like green is gonna be fine with it. Ooh, this with flash would be crazy, I think. Green feels like a color that is gonna be super fine with this card. Feels like it's gonna be easy to ramp and get a lot of mana in. It can be a 6/6 reach that gains 6 life, which is fine.
That's super strong. That's really good.
That's not super strong.
Whoa. Okay, fine, whatever. I won't be. That was rude of me. Forgive me.
The 6/6 reach for 7 that gains you 6 life?
No, for 6. For 6.
Did I say 6?
Dr. Slurm was asking for 6.
Oh, okay, that is super strong. That is extremely
Okay, I knew
powerful.
we were in a disconnect somewhere.
Okay, I didn't know that was what we were talking about. You know, at first, when I first saw the card, I don't know, a week ago or whatever, I kind of hated it, and because I expect a lot more from my 7-drops. But more I think about green, the more it feels like it. I'm gonna have the mana. I'm gonna have time to play it, and I'm gonna have big creatures, and I kind of like this. So I'm actually gonna give this a C-.
Spider hater. You spider hater.
Hater?
What I want.
That's a
Ramping
high
into-
grade for 7-drop.
Aye, yeah, in a color that is very strong at ramping. In this set, I believe. I believe this card is a C+. C+.
C+. Give it a C for me, because I just like it a lot. I'm okay with a C. Because it's... I do like... it is good, man. It is good. Oh, C+?
C+.
Oh,
I will.
man, let me think.
Okay,
Oh,
if you think about
talk to me.
the top end, so I will take the rampers, the tipsters. first, right? But then, if I have the tipsters, what do I want to be ramping into? This. If it's not a bomb, it's this.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the bomb, yeah. Alright, I'm on a C plus as well. I think it's just... I think for green in this set, this is perfect. And you don't have to put everything on itself. Next up.
Greenbelt Radical, 3 and a green. 4 mana total for a creature Centaur Citizen. It's a 4/4 with Disguise, 5 green, 7 mana. When Greenbelt Radical is turned face up, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. This is Bizarro, or not Bizarro, but this is a very interesting card because you need to make a very smart decision. It's actually really skill testing, I believe, in terms of if you want to disguise this on 3 because you expect the game state to end up in a point where you can get paid off on 7 versus get a 4 mana 4/4, which is very good already. So you are tested. It's a very good design in my opinion. Unless the gameplay is terrible, I'm not quite sure. Overrun is typically not great gameplay, but in terms of deciding and risk assessment, I think it's a very good card. And it's super solid. I really like this card. This is like a B- for me.
4 mana 4/4 is pretty good in an understated set. So yeah, I agree with that. It's yeah, that is pretty good. And the effect is really good. You don't untap them, they gain trample. Yeah, I like this. Like both sides are really good. Oh man, I love this set already. So many decisions. Everything is so many decisions. It's not just like, oh, I'm gonna play a lot of 2-drops and 1-drops and kill everybody. Man, there's so much more decisions here. Fuck, I love it. What do you give it?
I gave it a B-.
Yeah, easy.
Mid-combat flip.
I can see it being way better than B-, but started as a B-. I can see it being a B. Am I gonna give it a B? No, B-. Start as a B-. I'm close. I'm so close. I'm close. Hard-hitting question for green. You get a sorcery. And target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. I mean, what? This is 1 mana? And the other card is 4 mana?
I don't understand why you're so baffled.
In the same set.
+2 power is a lot of power for a punch.
3 mana worth of power. Okay, this is great. This is what I was talking about. In a set where you're playing more 3-drops than usual, probably less 4-drops, I think, and less 2-drops, I think. It's a little bit hard to get this tempo. So this is amazing. This is amazing. Like this 1 mana is so good. This is a B. This is better than Murder. I think this is quite a bit better than Murder. Ooh. Even though it's conditional. Ooh. It is conditional. I think this is one of the best removal spells in the set. It is such a huge tempo tool. It's better than Murder.
Ooh. It is. It's a big tempo tool. I think it is helpful to break down removal into things that answer keyword large that you can't deal with otherwise, and things that answer early, and utility creatures. Those are usually split up into 2. For example, Murder answers large creatures that you can't answer with your creatures by attacking and blocking. Shock is on the other end. It answers utility creatures that don't get into combat that are small, and it keeps you alive early. Hard-hitting question doesn't actually help you beat a creature that you can't already... So sometimes it can, but oftentimes it can't answer a creature that you can't already deal with by attacking and blocking. Which is... It serves a different role. This is a hyper-efficient removal spell. Extremely good. But I'm not on a B. I'm on a B-.
Okay. I think Murder is better.
Do I think Murder is better? I actually agree with you. I think Murder is worse. I think Murder is worse.
Oh.
But I think they fill different roles.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. All right. Chat. Do you think that the Murder is better or that this is better?
I feel like my margin between the 2 cards is smaller than yours, though.
I don't think it's a billion times better. All right, next up.
Hedge Whisperer, green. Creature, elf, druid, detective. It's an 0/3. You may choose not to untap Hedge Whisperer during your untap step. 3 and a green, and tap to collect evidence 4. Target land you control becomes a 5/5 green plant boar creature with haste as long as you control Hedge. Sorry, as long as Hedge Whisperer remains tapped, it's still land. Activate only as a sorcery. You will be able to grind out your opponent by turning all of your lands and start throwing them in your opponent's 5/5s. That is extremely strong. That is a payoff.
Yeah.
That is a payoff.
That's good.
This is a collect evidence end game. It's very good.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
This is very good. I'm gonna B- here.
Yeah, the thing is like 1 mana 0/3, so it's not like a 1/1 or something. So it actually can block things. And collect evidence, you kind of want to collect evidence with some of the green stuff, the uncommons and some multicolored uncommons that we are gonna see tomorrow. You trade off. It's a bit of a late game tool, right? But you'd never untap with this until the land is dead. So, I mean, even if I don't care about, I mean, okay, hexproof on a land would be better, yes. But if they use removal on a land, then I mean they're gonna use removal on this. But if they use it on a land dies, you make another land into a 5/5. So, I mean, that land is a really good blocker, so you don't have to attack with it. That's the thing. It's not a dead card, I think. It's like, you don't have to attack with a land. You have it as a 5/5. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna use removal on this if they remove something. Easy, yeah. So, you get a 5/5 land, you can block with it. And if it trades, you get another 5/5 land. Yeah, I'm gonna B-. I think this is great. And good tool of collecting evidence multiple times. A Killer Among Us. It's a 4 green enchantment. When a Killer Among Us enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human creature token, a 1/1 blue merfolk creature token, a 1/1 red goblin creature token, then secretly choose human, merfolk, or goblin, sacrifice a Killer Among Us, reveal the chosen creature type. If target attacking creature token is the chosen type, put 3 +1/+1 counters on it, and it gains death touch until end of turn. This doesn't feel like a card in a standard rotating draftable set. This feels like Unhinged, Unglued, any of the unsets. What this is hilarious. Like this I can't believe this made it into standard. I mean, okay, so because there's like infinite amount of text, and there's like a game that you're playing, but it's not really a game. It's kind of like a hidden information for the opponent. This doesn't feel like a real card in standard set. If I didn't have it here, downloaded and checked, I would be like, if Scotty was downloading the cards and getting this ready, I would be like, Scotty, are you sure that this is in the set? But I know it is. Okay, 5 mana. You get 3 1/1s. Not great. When you attack with, you choose which one, whatever, doesn't matter. Oh, reveal. Oh, wait. Oh, it's gotta be attacking creature token. So if you choose human, I think most of the time it's gonna be human. You have some human tokens, right, that can attack. So you can like have an effect right away.
Are there any human tokens?
Isn't
detectives aren't humans?
Isn't detectives are not humans?
Detectives are just detectives.
Oh, so there are none. Maybe in the list. Never mind. So 3 1/1s is not great for 5 mana, but then one of them is gonna be a 4/4 when it attacks, and with a death touch that turn. So you get 2 1/1s and a 4/4. This is not a F tier. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, so you're getting 3 1/1s. You're gonna get a 4/4 attacker and 2 1/1s if you attack with it. You just sacrifice it. That's nothing, and you get a 5 mana card in the graveyard for collect evidence as well. I mean, I think this is pretty damn good. Green also cares about collect evidence. I think this is pretty good. The problem is like when you're defensive and you really wanna... and you kind of have to attack that one turn. If this would be a 5 mana 4/4 detach and 2 1/1s, that would be really good, yeah. B minus or C plus? Because you kind of need to attack, that is a little bit of a problem. I'm gonna start as a C plus. You know the colorless card, the uncommon?
Yeah, it's very good with us.
Yeah, if you have this and that card and you just need a black card, right?
You just need a black card.
You just need a black card and it's solved. And what? Every turn something is gonna get flying, double strike, vigilance, or just flying double strike?
Flying double strike. There's another keyword. I think it's is it vigilance? Vigilance. Okay, vigilance.
Flying double strike vigilance.
Yeah.
That is kind of crazy. You know what's the funny thing? Like if you think opponent has removal, you can attack with 2 creatures, right? You can attack with 2 creatures, 2 of these tokens. And now if they have removal, you just flip it and it's target attacking creature. So yeah, you can't trick them. You can't really trick them. There are some funny mind games here. Man, I love this card. It's crazy. It's into this. Oh, man, I'm liking this set so much already. C plus or B minus? What do you think, Scotty?
Well, I'm a little bit lower. I think the fact that defensively it's 3 1/1s, even though that's fine, right?
It's really
Even
bad
though that's like
defensively,
fine. I think it's slightly more desirable than other 5-drops. So this is like actually a C for me. It's perfectly fine though. It's pretty decent.
I want a C plus. This is not 4 mana 3 1/1s. This is 5 mana for 3 1/1s. 4 mana. If this was 4 mana, it would be busted. But it's not. That's the difference between 4 and 5. I do like this card. Alright, next up.
Pompous Gadabout.
Gadabout.
2 and a green. 3 mana for a creature, human citizen. It's a 4/2, and Pompous Gadabout has hexproof as long as it's your turn. Pompous Gadabout can't be blocked by creatures that don't have a name. It cannot be blocked by disguised creatures because they don't have a name.
Yeah.
Wait, do tokens have a name? Tokens have a name, right? Tokens have a name.
Tokens have a name.
Tokens have a name. So it's just disguised creatures.
Just cloaked and disguised creatures, yes.
Cloaked and disguised creatures. Okay, sure.
Tokens have a name. The name is human.
Yeah. Yeah, the name is human or whatever. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to, like, Legions lost them or whatever.
I'm human. Nice to meet you. So, what do you think about the card?
It's alright. It's alright. You know, like it can hit relatively hard. Trades with anything that's not like a disguised creature, but
good trick target, I guess.
It's a trick target or a wearer. You know, not a detective, which is a little sad, but
trades with anything, but kind of cool with a +3/+3/3 or +2/+2 enchantment.
Yeah, I don't care too much. I don't care too much about it, honestly. This is like a C- for me.
Yeah, I don't care about this really. I'm on a D+. I don't think I want to be playing 4/2s for 3 that much. I mean, it is kind of good. Yeah, it's D+ for me just because if you're a little bit more into attacking, it is kind of good because opponent a lot of time you just put a 1 counter on it and 1 or 2 counters and they have to kill it on their turn. And it can be protected with like it's a good target to put counters on, and then it can be protected with the hexproof trick. I don't know. I think if you're slightly more aggressive, it's fine. D+, maybe gonna go down to a D, I think. Not gonna pick it as highly as you, Scotty. Rope. Artifact. Clue equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+2 and has reach and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. And it's a clue, so you can sacrifice it for 2 mana and draw a card. And you can equip it for 3. 3 is a lot. 3 is kind of a lot.
I sense spice.
Yeah, I know. You said that you love the card.
Yeah, the spice is coming.
Yeah, you said that you love the card. I don't like anything about it. When we in Kaldheim we had this thing, but you play it for 3 mana, it makes a 1/1, and then you can move it around for 3. That was really good. Underrated, I think. This one, I don't like it much, and 3 is so much to equip, it is so much. Like, even equipping, when something is 3 to equip and you get +3/+3, that's not very good. It would be fine if it cost 1 mana, I guess. But 3 mana for +1/+2 can't be blocked. Like, you make your things very, very hard to deal with. Yeah, I don't like this. I'm on a D.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Good, because then this is our biggest disparity.
Yeah, talk to me. You love it. You love it. I know you love it. Why?
Yep. I will play a rope in my green deck. And this will replace my top end, because then now most of my mid-range creatures are now my top end. And it has the added upside of cycling early. If I need to bail it out, if I need to cash it out, it has a bailout of cycling early. So instead of playing like a large, dorky creature that I will slam into my opponent's board and hopefully 2 for 1 because I have to double block because my creature's huge, I will have a rope. And the rope will win out almost every combat. +1, +2, right? If you were comparing your creature to your opponent's creature, yours will probably win out in that scenario because it has to be a 1 for 1. It has to be a 1 versus 1.
There's something like 4 mana to equip it first time.
Yes, because that is still cheaper than dropping your 6-drop. That's still cheaper than dropping your most expensive.
But it's less consistent.
You're just shooting up your 4-drop.
But it is less consistent.
Because you need the creature?
No, because you can have any amount of late game as you want in terms of creatures. Like you can say, okay, this is a ramp deck. I'm going to be good with my top end. I'm going to play like 5+, 5-drop, 6-drops. And when you say, okay, I'm going to replace those with rope, you're going to have like 1 rope.
Yep. The place where cycling is the strongest are on conditional cards. Cycling is the strongest on conditional cards. This card is very conditional for a specific board state. And that's why I think cycling is the best on this card than it is for all the other clue equipment.
It is also 3 mana to cycle. 1+2, 1+2.
3 mana. Well, the first mana, and it's kind of tough because the green 1-drop is quite good. But it's not that difficult to slide in 1 mana. So it is. I still would call this relatively cheap to cycle. But this is the most narrow of the equipment, which I mean, I think that means it's most benefited from having a bailout.
There's not much that touch. That's kind of nice about it. No, I don't like it, man. Like, I would rather play, if I want to go for that late game top end, having good amount of mana, I would rather play big stuff because I can play multiple big stuff and then I have more chance of drawing them, which makes it more consistent that my deck is gonna hit it. If I'm kind of expecting that rope is gonna be my end game, well, I can't get too many ropes in my deck. It's way easier to get more big creatures if that's my aim after ramping. That's my problem.
Why? Okay, why is it harder to get more ropes in your deck than
rope
it is
is one single uncommon. There are a lot of
sure.
There are a lot of commons and uncommons being big creatures.
Okay.
It's like you replace like 5-6 cards for 1 card usually.
Now that is fair, but it's certainly a lower floor to put this in your deck than a 6-drop. Is that right?
Not really if I'm playing a ramp deck.
A higher floor, sorry. Higher floor.
Higher floor, yeah.
That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument. I have this at a C, so we're at a full letter grade difference.
We are okay. The rope is gonna be interesting. Let's see. Okay. This is huge, right? This is like full. I'm on a D. You're on a C, right?
Yeah, I think this card is actively, aggressively fine.
There is a huge difference, like huge.
Yeah, and you think it's bad.
All right, so. Nice. Sample collector for 2 and a green. It's a 2/3 detective. Whenever this guy attacks, you may collect evidence 3. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Oh, on anything? Ooh, this is Kaladesh, where we had Energy Boy. That was a 3 mana 2/3 that grew. Man, this is pretty good. It's pretty stinking good. If you can continue growing it, like this is a 2/3. becoming a 3/4 is really big for a 3-drop. In this set, right? It's pretty big. And it's kind of hard to collect evidence later on with this. But it can also collect evidence for you multiple times, which is nice for that enchantment that I love. And Scotty also likes it. Did you like the enchantment?
It has a really high upside, yeah. And
Yeah,
I think
well
we can
played.
get there. Yes, it's very good.
Because you can get back with it. Like you're making 2/2s. I'm gonna go with a B-. I think this is a very good card.
B-, and I think it's really close to B+. The counter can go anywhere, by the way, right? We acknowledge that.
Yeah, wait, did you just say B- and it's close to a B+?
No, I said it's close to B. Sorry, I might have said close to B+, but it's close
Okay,
to B.
okay.
But
It's like,
this
just
is
give
very
it a
strong.
B then. Just give it a B then. Alright, I like this a lot. Oh, is this a rare? Is this the first rare?
We're now on rares.
We're now on rares. Oh, Scotty, how do you like green, commons and uncommons?
That's an interesting. It's a lot of it depends on how consistently you can ramp. I really do think that the identity of green is mostly going to be splashing because the ramp cards are core and the ramp cards are, or sorry, the fixing cards are core and the fixing cards are good. I think there's tools there to be really strong, right? I know you hate the punch card. I do too. It's not very good. But I am dubious of collecting evidence. And I'm a little bit more of a believer of collecting evidence as more of a sub-theme of a resource that you use sometimes if you have it and you'll naturally get and you don't have to work for. And more about playing just bombs and good cards. So I think green is... Simic is... It says collect evidence as the archetype, but I think it's mostly just going to be splash whatever. And you'll have a couple collect evidence things that you'll naturally get there.
And having more rares in the pack, it also kind of helps green. But just all in all, like green looks so interesting to me with all the splashing possibilities, with all the combos with exiling. Man, I love working with a graveyard, and green kind of likes working with a graveyard. With collect evidence, but also about caring about exiling things. Oh man, I'm so excited about green. I think there's so many different decks that you're gonna be able to build. Very different, but sure they're gonna be like ramping and splashing a lot, trying to build big stuff. But the core idea of the deck's game plan, it's gonna be so different. I have not been this excited about green in a while. And you have the 4-mana 3/3 that draws you a card, which is just a very reasonable creature that green kind of loves to get. So I'm so happy with green. I'm very excited. I like it when green is good. It's rare where there was a set where green was good, but the set was bad. Because green is not... I mean, one was crappy, but because green is rarely super aggressive, right? So that means that a lot of strategies are viable in a set. So yeah, I hope I'm correct that green is gonna be pretty good in this set, and because that's what it feels like. We can go to the rares.
Analyze the pollen, green for sorcery. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you may collect evidence 8. Search your library for a basic land card if evidence was collected. Oh, wait, by the way, I don't think we had this stat yesterday for the wild cards.
We got stats? We got stats for the wild cards?
Well, Mark Rosewater answered on Blogatalk. Thank you, Organic Chicken, for linking me. Read that link. Tell me what you think about it.
He answered it like a few months ago. I didn't know about it. Maybe I knew about it a few months ago. I forgot.
I mean, like, if we're getting our stats from Blogatalk, that's not the greatest.
That's not the greatest.
It's not the easiest place to find it.
So, what will be the average number of rares mythics per play booster? Up to 4 is exciting, but of course that's not typical. So here is an actual percentage, technically for murders in Karlov Manor, as that's the stats I have access to. So 2 rares, 37%. 3 rares, 4%. 4 rares, less than 1% chance. This means you'll get 2 or more rares in over 40% of the play booster packs. This is quite a lot more rares, man. It's quite a lot. Everybody's gonna be opening more than 4 rares on average. Yeah, everybody's gonna be opening more than 4 rares instead of 3. That's it. Okay, I'm okay with that. I've never been a problem for me. You want to go into the rares for green?
Yeah. Sorry, analyze the pollen green for sorcery. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may collect evidence 8. Search your library for basic land. If evidence was collected, instead search your library for a creature or land card, reveal that into your hand, then shuffle. I'm not a huge fan of Lay of the Land, which is just 1 mana find a land. That's highly mediocre card.
No.
The bailout of collecting evidence 8 in the late game and finding your bomb. That
Stop,
seems pretty good.
stop with the bombs, man. Stop with finding your bombs. Like every deck that you have has a bomb. That every deck that you have has a bomb.
I mean, even find your spider. Fine. Find your spider. Find your bomb.
Find the creature that you want.
Find the creature that you want.
It's
Do your
like
creature.
every
Find
time
the
it's like
Gorgon.
you're going ramp to your bombs. Get your bomb. Like that's not how it works. It's in sealed, yes, sure. In sealed, it's that I agree. In draft, you're not gonna find your bomb. Most of the decks just don't have bombs. Is that right? Like most of the decks don't have bombs, right?
They certainly have a best creature. Sure.
Bombs, like A level cards.
Fine. Find your on average B card
Yeah, find a good card.
for that particular situation. Not bad. Pretty
You
good.
also need to not draw it, right?
That's true. You also, I mean, then you have it already. Fine. This is like a D plus for me. It's fine.
D plus, I'm fine with this. I'm gonna see. I think it's green is gonna be kind of doing this. It's not like green has infinite collect evidence, but it also cares about collecting evidence. 8 is kind of hard, but it's nice to have a land. This is basically a land in your green deck, right? A land that can become your best creature for that situation. It's not even the best creature just in the deck. It's best for that situation, which is kind of huge. So it's not crazy. It's like collect evidence is not easy, I think, and you're gonna be collecting with other things. But why not? I also kind of don't mind my lands being a 1-drops that helps me with collect evidence when I play when my 2-drop dies, and 1-drop, and then I can collect evidence 3. So yeah, I wanna see. I like this.
Convincing. I'll join you.
Oh, from D to C?
Yep.
Oh.
Actually, I got intimidated because you started yelling at me, so I got scared. I didn't hold to my virtues. I was gonna give it a C minus.
Wait, why did I yell at you? Because of the bomb thing?
No, you didn't. You know, I'm just sensitive, and you hurt my feelings. So.
Oh.
But I'll join you at C. You've given me the
Let's
courage
kiss.
back.
Let's kiss. Come here.
Yeah,
Come
thank you
here.
for the hug. I appreciate it. Yeah. What are you doing? Why are you leaning? Why are you looking down when you say come here?
Because you're down. You're down there.
Ah, okay. Yeah, sure. All right, got it. Never mind.
He's down there.
I understand now.
Gotta smoke a
Are you gonna
cigarette
read Archsteward's
afterwards.
Charm? Are you gonna read Archsteward's Charm?
Yes. He's holding it in with his hand. Archdruid's Charm. For a triple green, you get an instant speed spell. You choose one. Search your library for a creature or land card and reveal it. Put it onto the battlefield tapped. If it's a land card, otherwise put it into your hand, then shuffle. The other choice is put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. It deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. The third choice is exile target artifact or enchantment. Okay, instance. It's 5. This is 5 choices? Okay. So, yeah, it kind of is 5 choices. That's 5 choices. It's true. It's true. So, wait, why didn't they just make it 5 choices then? it is true. This is 5 choices. So, you can search for a land or creature. That sounds bad, but it's sure. +1/+1 counter on something and then kill something else is really good in combat. Like, that's the best one on average. On average. Of course, if you get a bomb, like Scott is always gonna have one. I'm noticing that I'm sensitive about my bombs. That like that's not an A plus. Like that's an A. I've always been a little bit. I don't know why.
Yeah, you love your A ratings.
The most important one, you're always gonna have it. I mean, so triple green is like it's a pretty big barrier. I knew somebody's gonna say balls. I knew it. That's how you work, chat. Triple green is hard. Like, Scotty, how problematic is triple green on this card?
Incredibly. However, in sets where there's a common green mana producer at common, it gets a little easier.
Like, I like it in green. I like this in green. There is a lot of choices. Obviously, the one that you want the most is hopefully 2 for 1, give +1/+1 counter and kill something. But you can also like exile Artifact Enchantment, why not? Search for probably not a land, but maybe. But almost certainly a creature, the best creature you can. I mean, it's not crazy, but it's manageable in this set, I think. I think this is a C. I think it's not a bad card for green in this set. Green also kind of suffers from bad common removal. So that this helps, I guess. C. I'm okay with C. In other sets, this would be like a D or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also fine, but it's kind of just the tipster, right? Because I think with I'm hoping, I guess you could just find additional green sources if you really need them, if you're not splashing too much. The fixing's pretty good. So I'm not. This is definitely castable. I'm just slightly lower, C-, but I agree with pretty much everything you're saying.
I was thinking about C or C-, but starting it as a C.
Audience with Trostani. 2 and a green for 3 mana. For a sorcery, it's create a 0/1 green plant creature token, then draw cards equal to the number of differently named creatures you control. I don't hate this. I don't hate it. Like, I don't think it's that difficult to draw 3 with this. 2 creatures, so 3 mana draw 3. 1 creature, it's a 3. It's a divination, which it's a divination that you can then gain some life because you can chump block something. That's fine. Different creature tokens. Oh, okay. Read the freaking card. This card stinks. So this card is terrible.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
It's truly awful, and it's an F. There we go.
I mean, if you just have one more token that's not a plant, it's pretty good, I think.
If you have one more token that's not a plant, it's like a divination plus.
Yeah, that's like pretty good. Divination that gets you 0/1. I think that is really good. I also don't think it's gonna be that easy to get another token, like on average. And I mean, draw 4 with a chalk, not with a chalk, with a who is the murderer, something like that. Who's done it, something like that. A Killer Among Us. Okay, different name completely. It's draw 4 with Killer Among Us, maybe even 5 if you have a detective.
I'll go to D-.
Yeah.
I don't want a conditional divination. Even if it does draw me a card. I want to be my divination to at least be able to hit my 4th land drop.
There are topters as well. I mean, if you can consistently have that other token, you're playing these divination type effects later on in the game anyways. You know what, Scotty? I think I'm gonna give it a D+. And I think this is maybe should have a ceiling rate because it is really good if you're getting if you have the tokens. Weird that this is a rare, yeah. But
what would you give divination in this set?
I mean, divination. If it's consistently divination, that probably means it can be better in divination. But it's not a divination because they're making a 0/1. That is a huge part of it.
I mean, like, what would you give actual divination in this set?
Yeah, then it's fine. It's whatever, like C-.
Oh, really? Dang, that's pretty high. Okay.
It's slower set, so I kind of like it. But I think this has like a C ceiling, like a C.
Sure, I'll go with C ceiling.
Yeah, 0/1 is not nothing that you're getting a creature inside.
Gaining life on your draw spells is really good.
Yeah. Oh, it's a plant also for my favorite card of the set that we didn't read yet. That's gonna be tomorrow. The Golgari enchantment. That's my favorite card in the set, and I'm gonna be very disappointed if it's not good. And I'm gonna be playing it a lot, even if it's not good. I'm gonna make that freaking card work. God damn it. But it feels good. So hopefully I'm right about it. X-Bane Ferox for 2 and double green. It's a 4/4 detach haste. And it has Ward, Collect Evidence 4. That's a funny word cost, yeah. So many removal in this set just doesn't have... cannot be countered, so that's kind of funny. I mean, this is great. It's a 4/4 detach haste. That's what it is. That's kind of what it is. And sometimes opponent is not going to be able to remove it, or you are going to be removing their resources if they need collect evidence. That's definitely a plus. I like it. When opponent doesn't have 4 in the graveyard, that means that it has hexproof. So you can know when this creature has hexproof, right? It's not just like sometimes it's gonna counter something. It's like, okay, I know this creature has hexproof. I know I can use tricks on it. I know I can do stuff with it, and opponent is not gonna blow me out. So, I mean, this is just 4/4 detach haste is great. I'm on a B for this set. Yeah, I like this.
I'm also on a B. Case of the Locked Hothouse. 3 and a green for a enchantment case. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. To solve, you control 7 more lands. And when it's solved, you may look at the top card of your library anytime, and you may play lands and cast creatures and enchantments from the top of your library. 4 mana for the first effect is very mediocre. Very mediocre.
It does nothing. It does nothing.
Yeah, it basically does nothing.
It
really barely ever
nothing,
ramps
yeah.
you. Like, you need 2 additional lands in your hand for it to quote-unquote ramp you.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you just play your additional land, and then you don't have a land for next turn.
But you had the 1 mana.
How good is 7 lands, 4 mana? Like let's say this was a 7-drop that refunded you 3 mana, and then you could like total impulse off the top, like future sight off the top of your deck. That's not the worst card in the world. That's not the worst card in the world.
I mean, it's kind of
I don't think
like we can, because it's, you play it earlier, you can play it earlier.
Yep.
Right, that's the plus.
So I think this is actually shockingly playable, considering that the first part of the case does basically nothing. It does basically nothing. And I still think that this is enough of a payoff and enough of an easy way to hit. An easy enough way to solve it, that I think this is actually okay. I'm going to give this a solid C.
C?
C for like solid.
I don't know, man. 4 mana do nothing. And really do nothing. Like, we've had cards that actually have this effect and they do something. And they are good. They are fine. Like, fine-ish. Up to pretty damn good. So this one is like horrible until you get the effect. Play additional land does nothing. So this literally does nothing until you get to 7 mana. Green has ramp, but some of the ramp comes from not lands. That's a bit of a problem. There's the uncommon that gets you lands from the graveyard. Man, I don't like this, man. I think this is bad. I'm gonna give it a D just because it's in green, like a D minus. I'm gonna give it a D minus. This is... I don't know, man. I think it can be played, maybe. I don't think it's straight up F. I think it would be an F in every single set in the last 2 years. Probably every single set. So I'm gonna give it a D minus now. Hey Hem, yeah, D minus at best. Nice, we agree.
It's extremely slow.
It is so slow, and really you're spending 4 mana for nothing.
This is like I'd rather have a common 5-drop.
If this was a 7-drop, it would be unplayable. Like this, it's borderline unplayable. C? Still?
No, I don't think you actually need this. There's much better ways to accumulate value in the late game as green. Much better ways.
Man, I'm gonna spend the whole next week on the pre-releases. I can't wait to test everything.
Extremely slow.
All right, please read the next one. I gotta run to the bathroom real quick.
Oh, hide in plain sight. What? Oh, hide in plain sight. 3 and a green for 4 mana for a sorcery. Look at the top 5 of your library. Cloak 2 of them. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. Oh, this is just like a 4 mana 4/4. Lola went to the bathroom. So I look at the top 5, cloak 2 of them, put the rest in the bottom. Okay, yeah. So this is just cloaking 2 of them. Then you can flip them up later. Yeah, this is super sweet. I mean, I like this. pretty much all upside. 4 mana, 2. Green-white likes to go wide. Yeah, they also have Ward, which is lovely. And honestly speaking, you're just going to take, like, what, the biggest cards? So you can just flip them up later. It'll scale. It's a B+ for me. It's really good. I like it. I wonder if it's too high. If you miss on 2 creatures, you can still grab. You can still grab a sorcery. You just can't flip it up. Yeah, sometimes you'll never be able to flip it up, and that's okay. I think this is just good for any deck. Any deck will play this.
So
yeah, we only have multi. Yep.
Yeah, this is amazing. B or B+, 2/2s with 4/2 is pretty good. I think I'm gonna go with a B, because that's... I'm gonna imitate Scotty then. You're gonna get 2 bombs with this, at least 1, and that is always great to do.
Yeah, that's why it's a B+, because I'll always find my bombs with it.
I'm gonna B. I think it's great. I think like you get the creatures that are... Maybe 1 or 2 of them are better. Maybe 1 is better, probably, than this, and you can just leave it. Getting anything here is nice. It's I don't think it's like crazy powerful, but it's pretty good. It's gonna be a little bit irritating for the opponent. You lose on ETB cards because they don't work with flip, because they're not used to the non-disguise cards, right? You kind of lose on that. They don't get ETBs once you flip them, but just 2/2s is fine. I really don't think it's that powerful. I'm kind of close to a B-, because I'm mostly looking at this as 2/2s with Ward, which is pretty good, and then sometimes it's gonna be a little bit better. All right.
I think you just need to draw better.
I mean, it's really good. Like it is really good. It's ramp?
I didn't say it's ramp.
No, what is it? Somebody said... Talvi said it's ramp. If you get creatures that you can flip.
You've convinced me down to a B.
I like this. No. It's not a ramp, what the hell. The Pride of the Hullclade. It's a 10 and a green. Legendary creature, Crocodile Elk Turtle. It's a 2/15, and this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the total toughness of creatures you control. Defender, it has Defender, but for 2 and double blue until end of turn, target creature you control gets +1/+0. Gains whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw cards equal to its toughness, and can attack as though it didn't have Defender. 2/15? So if you don't have access to blue, it's crap. I don't care about 2/15s if I don't have access to blue, I think. I mean, it's interesting, but it's hard for you to die in this set, except to murder. And that touch, I guess. Yeah, this is like very important that you have access to double blue. So if you're just green, you don't play this ever. If you have access to double blue, I mean, you activate it once when you connect, and that's like at least 2 cards that you're drawing. So that is not small. And it's kind of easy to play this, right? What the toughness, like it's not easy, not hard to play this for a very low amount of mana. And even if you play like something for 5 or 6 mana, if you have 1 green lying around, you can probably just play this for 1. Like you play a 5/5, that's 5 less, and then you play it for 1 that turn. I'm not against it. Like it's obviously multicolored card, but I'm definitely not against it. I'm gonna C+ for this one. I mean, we gotta give it a ceiling, maybe. Huh?
Yeah, it needs a ceiling grade.
Yeah, I'm like on a C- and ceiling of
C+?
C+ or a B-. I don't know. C+, I think.
I'm on a C+ ceiling.
Yeah, ceiling for 1 mana, 250. I mean, I'm on a B- ceiling. This can be so easily played. This is not hard to play for a small amount of mana. You also have a green rampart that grows. I don't know. I like this a lot. Gain 15 life with Spider. I mean, that's a thing. That is a thing. So C+ or B- for a ceiling, you choose. I'm okay with a B-.
I was on C+. I was on C+.
Let's go C+ then. How high do you pick it?
I think
Talk about it. Like, talk about it. It's a pretty cool card.
I don't. So normally I'm a little concerned about the conditionality of having a board, but I don't think it's that difficult to have a board, especially in a blue-green deck, where I think they're actually going to be quite good at stalling with creatures and staring at the opponent. But then what does this do on that stalled board? If it has a stalled board, it doesn't give evasion when you pay mana for it.
I mean, in a stalled board, something can attack. Usually.
Yeah. I'll go B minus because it's cool. I do think it'll be easy to cast, but after the effect is going to be good. There's a C minus, or sorry, B minus.
Interesting card. Oh, you go, Scotty. This one is nice.
Sharp-Eyed Rookie. 1 and a green for a creature human detective. It's a 2/2 with vigilance. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, if its power is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's power, or its toughness is greater than Sharp-Eyed Rookie's toughness, put a +1/+1 counter on Sharp-Eyed Rookie and investigate. We have a 2-drop that scales and snowballs. 2-drop that scales and snowballs. So in terms of cost to effect ratio, I think that hyper efficient cards, right, that that grow in stats are super good in RBs. I think that hyper efficient cards that grow in stats and also snowball your card advantage in your board state are A's. This is an A for me. This is a bomb.
This is crazy. It brings stats, it brings value, it brings tempo. Like, it's one card that does it all. It requires other things. The problem, just a small problem is when you're gonna be playing like 3 mana 2/2s, so it's not gonna be. Usually, you can expect right away on turn 3 this becoming a 3/3. It doesn't work with flips unless I'm very mistaken. So yeah, it just doesn't work with flips. So it's not in a normal set. This would be just like growing all the time. On turn 3, basically every single time on turn 3 it would grow. But there is a lot of turns where you're gonna play it and it's not gonna grow until turn like 4 or 5, and then maybe it's not gonna grow then because you're flipping. But if it grows one time, it's a 2 mana 3/3 vigilance in a slightly understated set that is gonna draw you a card. Like, that's a B plus. But if it can grow more than that, so I'm giving it an A minus, which is it's not like a bomb in a sense that we saw in this set and some others. It's like, oh, I play this, I'm probably just win the game. That's like the overwhelming power it brings. This is more like it is so efficient in what it's doing. Like, it's so efficient in tempo. It is so efficient, and it's a 2-drop, right? You can always play it, and it's so efficient in the value it's getting you. So it's an amazing card. You gave it an A?
Yep, an A, straight up A.
Just very, very good. I think this is the last green card. Undergrowth Recon. For 1 and double green, it's an enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, return target land card from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. I don't like this. I mean, you have the Walling Wilds in this set. You have the Mill and Surveil in this set. You can't have unblockable every turn because it enters the battlefield tapped. This is great with that enchant that needs 7 lands. Hem comboing up those 2 cards, okay. Like, there is the land that you tap. There is also a land. There's also a land that sacrifices for drawing a card, right? So this can like give you late game tools. Early game, you really need to surveil, you really need to mill, and then you need payoffs for that. Oh man, I don't like this card. I mean, I thought I was gonna maybe like it more in this set. I think it's really bad. I would kind of like it to not be bad. I think this is really bad. If this gets you 2 lands, it's already card advantage. No, it really is not. It isn't, because you gotta make use for those lands. Right? You do need to get used for. You do need to make use for those lands. You need to pay off these 3 mana, right? It needs to be worth at least one card. And getting 2 lands, depending on what's the state of the game, is not worth even 1 card, not just 2. Even though technically they are 2 cards. So like you need to make use of them. They enter the battlefield tapped, it's on your upkeep, it's not right away. So you can use them, you play it, you can't use the land. Okay, play it, do nothing. Next turn, nothing happens. 2 turns later, you got a land that had to be in your graveyard. I don't think the land should be tapped. I think it's really bad, and I think it's not playable. Unfortunately, if it was not tapped, then you could go with wilds. Then you could use the land. It could actually ramp you at a time where it could ramp you at a decent amount rate where you could use that mana. And in the late game, you could just thin your deck, sure. But you can also like get that land that acts as a clue. You get it. Hey, that land that acts as a clue doesn't have to be. You don't have to tap it, right? Because it's a clue.
Because it's a clue, yeah, you can sacrifice it immediately.
So you can continue sacrificing for 2 mana. That's an uncommon? Or a common?
That's an uncommon. Scene of the Crime is an uncommon.
Scene of the Crime?
Scene of the Crime is an uncommon.
Making a case for F+. I mean, you can keep drawing cards with that, like for 2 mana per turn later on. Man, this is just unplayable, right? Right, Scotty? It's unplayable.
I'll sport it a D minus at best.
I'm gonna give it an F. I don't think this is playable. Like, why would I... If this is playable, then how good is the 1/3 that mills for 3 and gets you all of your lands right away for 4 mana? Then that card is bonkers. That card is crazy. If this is
I mean, there's like almost no deck where I'd run this over the 3-drop that makes investigates and gets you a land.
What 3-drop?
They went that way or whatever. Like that card is not even great, and this card is infinitely worse.
Yeah. Bye.
Like there's so much to have to go right.
I don't think you can play this in a deck. I'm gonna try to make a deck where you do play it, but it really needs to have like 2 of those lands that I crack for clues. But it's such a bad late game tool, and it's so inconsistent early game, and it's so slow, painfully slow. It is. Would this really be good in Vintage Cube, where because it enters the battlefield tapped?
I mean, wastelanding your opponent every other turn is, I don't know, maybe okay. Strip mining your opponent every other turn. Nah, that's not even good.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's so slow. It is so slow. Well, we are done with all the colors, and only thing that's left is multicolored, and we are also gonna do the list, and that's gonna be happening tomorrow. Scotty, how do you feel about the set so far?
The set's interesting. I still think that the tools exist for very aggressive decks, and I'm most interested in drafting the aggressive decks of anything. But it looks like at least, for example, green in terms of splashing, and some of green's defensive tools look like they are actually good enough to keep up. So I'm hoping for a balanced, well-rounded format. But I am interested in casting white creatures and attacking for the first, like, 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I don't think the aggressive decks are as good as they were in the past week. So that's always nice to have tools to build aggressive decks, and I believe there is, especially white. But when they're not overwhelmingly powerful, it is great that you can also have tools to build slower decks, and that you're not just doing it because you like building slow decks. I really enjoy doing it, but I also like winning, so sometimes it just doesn't work. My favorite way to play is like having time to develop, having time to have a lot of different choices, because that also affects the deck building, right? You're just not going for all the early game. Do you think the aggressive decks could actually compete with decks in other formats? No. Or just aggressive enough to punish the slower stuff that this format seems to have lots of. Yeah, I don't think that the aggressive decks in this format could compete with aggressive decks in previous formats. That's how it feels to me. What do you think, Scotty?
Yeah, I'm mostly in agreement.
Like you have in red, there's a 2 mana 2/1. Or a 2/2 that must attack.